yeah, I mean, I think one of the worst scenarios I remember hearing, like the one that made me hate Activision a few years ago, was the whole what was it called now? The Tim Schafer Double Fine Brutal Legend game,
Yeah.
where I think Vivendi gobbled up a few companies, and whatever the case happened, Activision it was the result. Activision was now the new king in town. It was making more money than EA. Call of Duty was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Um, and they just decided, oh, you know what? We're not going to make Brutal Legend. This pretty cool looking action game that features, at the time, popular Jack Black as the voice of the main hero by the guy that created Psychonauts. Yeah, we're just going to put that on a shelf. So they took it to EA, and EA was like, yeah, we'll release that. So Activision then sued them for trying to release a game they weren't going to release.
Well, so much
To which,
anymore, it's less about releasing the game and getting the money from the release as having the potential revenue from just owning the property.
And just preventing another company from releasing something that might make them money that could have made the other people money.
yeah.
Like how kind of
To
how
which Tim
like Sony
Schafer,
owns Fantastic Football.
to which Tim Schafer
Go.
responded, uh, if they really liked it, they should have put a ring on it. Oh great, now Beyonce's going to sue me too.
Oh, yeah.
Now who's gonna sue?
But,
Beyonce.
Ah,
Yeah.
but at least Activision now are no longer being quite so dickish because John Kotick, the guy in charge of the whole thing, has shut up for a few years, so they don't look as bad.
well, it also probably helped the Xbox One quite a bit when their main PR guy was fired.
Yeah.
He wasn't fired. He just left the company.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Well,
He
in any case, when
he left the
somebody asks, I think somebody asked like when it was going to be, you have to check in online once a day. Somebody asked, well, what if they're military overseas or something? And his response to that was, well, they should have thought about that before joining the military.
Yeah, I do remember there was a pretty big debacle over
Yeah,
that
I'm
guy
trying
You
to
being
have
remember
a,
his
not
name.
chosen was.
over
But
that
he,
guy
he left
being.
to
You have
join
no-
He left to join Zinger or Zynga or whatever they're called, the guys that do Farmville.
Zynga?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, someone rightly pointed out, a guy from Video Gamer TV, I think, on YouTube. He said, I think his name might be Matt as well. But he said, what's interesting is Microsoft got him to go onto stage to talk about the Xbox One and to do interviews about the Xbox One. And he must have known at that point that he had gotten a job with another company because of the amount of time it takes to actually do that transition when you've been with a company so long and are in such a high position. Not only that, Microsoft must have known that he'd be leaving as well. Which makes you wonder how much conviction they had in him and how much conviction he had in the product and whether or not he gave a shit in any of those interviews. I think it's kind of telling that it's like, how little they gave a crap about the audience at the time.
So basically, it was a whole big Mitt Romney shooting his mouth off in that one.
Yeah. Because I remember him saying something like, well, what if they don't have an internet connection? What if they don't... and he's like, well, we do have an option for people that don't have an internet connection. It's called the Xbox 360.
Shit.
I mean, it's like if Nintendo were to go, well, yeah, if you really, really want to play those old Super Nintendo games and you don't have access to the internet to get a virtual console, you can always buy a Nintendo.
That's absolutely an option.
Except it's not, because you can't play the Super Nintendo games on a Nintendo.
Both are Nintendos.
Yeah. Personally, I think Microsoft and anybody who likes Microsoft... No, I'm not going to say... It just upsets me because I've gotten in way too many arguments with Microsoft fans, and they always use the same arguments with me. And generally, their arguments are composed of insults and saying that I need to get a real job if I want to buy things pre-owned. It's like, I'm sorry, I like discounts.
I'm sorry, I have to pay bills.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, I don't live in my parents' basement. I pay for my cell phone. I also pay for my housing, my food, my electricity, my internet connection, all the video games I have. That stuff costs some money, you know?
Well,
It's
I
like
know it
saying,
was
like,
at least as far as used games go. Um, Places like once again GameStop had a bad habit of really cutting the developers and the owners of the game out of the deal, especially when it came to somebody selling a used game to them and then them reselling it.
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. There is no legal precedent to say that if I was to sell you something, that they should get more money for it.
That's the thing that never made
They've
sense.
already made the
This is
money
true.
off that item.
Yeah, that's the thing that never made any sense for me. Like, they priced it when they initially released it to make whatever money they needed to make back. Because basically, anybody who makes the argument that, oh, well, with this new business model, the developers will get more money, well, then why don't they raise the price of the fucking games? Like, I'm not all for saying they should sell each computer game like $200 a piece. This isn't fucking Australia. But still, they made their money off of that sale. And to say that they want to make money off of every consequent sale of that very same product, that doesn't really make any sense. Like, I don't mean like the very same product is in the very same title. I mean like the same exact physical copy being sold over and over and over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it's any other market, like if it was DVDs, if it was books, if it was items of clothing, if it was cars, if it was houses, the people that made them originally don't get a cut in the resales
Yeah,
because how do they keep track of that shit?
they wouldn't. Then the thing is, that was how fans of Microsoft were brainwashed because Microsoft said all of this bullshit. They had people like Cliffy B say all of this bullshit, and it's like, oh well, this system.
Before you continue,
Yeah.
I just want to say the screen was just the map was just saying to our argument.
What?
So it just looked like the map was forming an E then an H.
Oh. Yeah. It's See,
Sorry.
this as a retro video game is like, I don't have those fucking problems. You put me in the console and I play. Yeah, well, there's a little thing called
You
having
just need to breathe into me a lot.
Yeah, yeah. You just have to blow into the cartridge every now and again, and I work. Yeah, asshole. Well, that's a lot of work. So don't you be fucking acting high and mighty on me. Fucking Dragon Warrior
Blow
Nintendo
me and I'll
cartridge.
work for you.
Very nice. Fucking Nintendo cartridge, Dragon Warrior asshole. In my top loader that I absolutely love. Even though I don't have the dog bone controllers, I still have the classic controllers.
I mean, the one thing that really bugged me with the whole trying to kill the used market thing, I've relied so much on the used market to get games I missed the opportunity to buy the first time round.
Yeah.
Or DVDs even that I missed the opportunity to buy the first time round, because if you miss them the first time round, sometimes they're no longer around.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're super expensive to buy new. So you have to get them used because and in like terrible condition because it's the only affordable option, especially when you're unemployed.
And also, like, everybody wanted to, like, instantly jump to mock me that I need a better job because I want to buy things pre-owned. But it's like what they miss in my argument, it's that I'm not exactly talking about buying them pre-owned while they're still in vogue. The way Microsoft was doing it was basically giving their console a kill switch. Whenever they stop supporting the Xbone, that's it. There's no finding Xbox games in the flea market and just putting them in and being like, oh man, I remember this. Their console is then dead, unless they were to take action before they brought down the servers, but who really knows if they'd want to do that, you know?
Yeah, it's like the issue with digital gaming. It's like I buy a lot of games digitally because well, most of the games I buy digitally, that's the only option. For example, the re-releases of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike or uh, Sonic Adventure DX in HD.
Yeah.
It's much easier for me to get those things digitally rather than having to set up my Dreamcast and playing it on that, even though I probably still would these days. But with something like Steam, you're pretty guaranteed it's going to be around for as long as that thing is successful, because PCs, even though they always change, they also never change in certain ways.
Yeah.
Whereas consoles, they are a set thing that last for a period of time and then go away.
Yeah, like
So backwards compatibility is time limited.
anybody that's got Xbox 360 games on live, since that shit isn't reverse compatible, there's a timeline on that. Like, not the physical
Yeah.
games, but the... And being those consoles aren't the most stable to begin with, they're basically around while you still have them after you can't download them anymore. Which kind of makes me regret the
Like
few Xbox 360 games I bought. But there's actually one online, it's online only, that I want to get an Xbox 360 for, and I fear buying it because I don't know how long it's going to be there. It's a
Brink?
Castlevania game. And it's only available
The HD
online.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like there's games like for example for me, like as I mentioned just Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Yeah.
I would play that online. It's my favorite fighting game. And the 360 version is the most convenient version I have of the two. Like the hard copy version I have is on my old Xbox, and that's not really a viable option because it's weird. It keeps turning itself on at night. But
Whoops.
the 360 version, I can play it when there isn't a disc in. I can play it online. I can play with my brother who doesn't live with me now. It's like. But in 5 years, am I still going to be able to do that? Am I going to have to buy the Xbox One version?
And here's the thing that... Shit, I had something... Oh, and even with Steam, you can make physical backups of your games. I'm not sure to what capacity they work there, though. I don't know if they work as like a replacement, but I know that you can make physical backups, and I'm sure that with how much Steam really seems to care about their customers, they would probably make that good enough if the servers were to go down. I'm not 100% on that. Unlike Microsoft customers, I am able to say, that may not be the case. I'm going to get off the Steam dick for a second and consider the possibility that that's not how it's going to happen. But I'd like to believe
Well,
that
even
that's
if it
what
does, even if it does, it being PC and PC gamers being what they are, there will be an option.
would. Yeah.
It might not be technically legal, but there will be an option.
It's like I technically have a license to all 607 of these games, so I'm fucking getting them.
Yeah.
And it would even be so much as getting like a license statement if the servers went down and they just sent out individual licenses to everyone. They're like, well, you bought this game and you own the license to it, so here's a key to get it somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, GOG's pretty good because there's no DRM at all on their games.
Yeah, you just download it and there it is.
So you can buy like tons and tons of games and you can just play them wherever you go. And so long as their servers, and I think you just download them straight to your computer. You don't have a launcher or anything.
Yes.
So
yeah, you download
they
it
just
straight to
work.
your computer. Yeah.
So
See,
there's no DRM because Steam is technically DRM, but it's user friendly.
yeah, it's very user friendly. Unless they're having a promotion and it's down for like 2 days.
Oh god, what was the one they did? I forget. They had a promotion where it was during the Steam sales, and there was one specific thing, like I think maybe Left 4 Dead or something, or Borderlands 2, just like almost nothing. Just yeah, no one got that. I don't think it was just killed the service.
I actually won Borderlands 2 when I got it. I got it for absolutely nothing. Back when it was like brand new, like $60, and I got it for free.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. I actually got...
Nintendo recently said something I do want to say about Nintendo actually in terms of their user friendliness. You know how they had it finally stopped now, but the online passports for other consoles and so on.
No.
Nintendo never did that. They had the option where if you bought something new, you got a scratch card, and that gave you points which you could then exchange for digital money that you could use to purchase other things.
Oh, don't
So
they
they
use...
basically gave you...
That's Club Nintendo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still doing that. I actually just signed up for Club Nintendo when I got my Wii U. I'm up to gold membership now. I'm working on platinum.
They still do it, and it's like that's awesome. They actually give you something for buying the game new, rather than having to block off the game when you buy it new. I mean, now even Ubisoft has realized that all this stuff is kind of bullshit, and
Actually,
it's stopping.
the funny part is one of the new games I got had that, and two of the pre-owned games still had the codes in that worked.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I won on that one. But yeah, I mean, it's really awesome.
Unfortunately, I didn't use my points on the Wii I bought soon enough,
Yeah.
so I lost. They do have an expiration date, sadly.
Yeah. That's actually how I got Super Mario RPG, which is how that's an option for our next Super Nintendo game. Because I got that on the store for free because I had enough coins for it.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it illegitimately, which means I wouldn't do it on the show because I won't do anything. It's like ROM or whatever. But now that I have it legitimately, I actually bought it. We can do it on the show.
It's my favorite of all the RPGs I've downloaded on the Wii Shop and on any online shop. It's the only one I've actually completed.
Mm.
It's considering it's an old Super Nintendo game, which I don't complete often. Like I'll get an old RPG and I'll play through to the end. That's such a rare thing for me because I get bored eventually.
Hey,
I just didn't get bored of that game.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, it was in the first half hour of this whole session that we mentioned the fans choosing which game we do next, right?
I think it was.
So, yeah, it'd be like Dragon Warrior episode, I think... Oh, fuck. I don't even know what episode we're on right now. What was the last... Mike, can you go on the YouTube and tell me what was the last Dragon Warrior episode that was uploaded? Because the very next one is the one that we tell people to comment which game they want us to do.
I can look that up, sure.
Okay. And then we'll just end the episode with that tidbit of information, I think. Since we're talking about it, we might as well refer to it to make sure people know to go there and comment which game they would like us to do, Super Mario RPG or Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. So far, Super Mario RPG has 3 votes. Because Matt, you wanted to do Mystic Quest, right? And Mike wanted to Mike wanted to do Mario RPG, but the 2 viewers we've had so far said that they've wanted us to do Mario. So we've got 3 for Mario and 2 for Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
They're making a mistake. Mystic Quest is not as good.
But yeah, we'll do Mystic Quest eventually. The aim is to do all the games I have as my collection, you know, grows. Because we release these pretty regularly, so...
Mystic Quest is just an odd one on the Final Fantasy spectrum, because they released it to appeal to dumb Westerners, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Because they simplify everything. Like, you don't grind so much as you just get levels throughout the course of the game. You don't have other classes, you just get a weapon that you'll use for a period of time. You get one party member with you at any given time, and it's story-based. There's no free roaming, you follow very strict linear paths. It's very much the Final Fantasy 13 of its day.
It sounds like it's probably a lot shorter, too.
Presumably, yeah.
Well, we'll find out. Is this another game where
I always found that was one of those things that I found weird. Like, people, like whenever you hear like, oh, the Japanese developers thought, oh, the American gamers won't be good enough to play this stuff, and it's like, they loved Final Fantasy 2 and 3, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Secret of Mana. Were they really that complicated? And if you look at the RPGs that tend to come from America and Europe, they're ridiculously complicated.
Yeah.
Have you tried to play, like... Try to go back and play, like, the original Ultima or...
Yes.
Might and Magic these days? It's just... It's like trying to learn how to walk again. It's...
Ultima 4 is, like, one of my favorite games, actually.
But it's amazing how different they are compared to where
Wrong shop.
any games are today. I mean, it's kind of why I preferred console games in general. They tend to have a bit more immediacy to them versus old PC games.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got to admire their balls. They had a lot of great ideas in those games.
Right. I think it was like the first Ultima where you actually had space fights and shit.
But I remember, I remember something about them having to make Metal Gear Solid. There was one game that they changed the difficulty on to be easier for the Western audience, and another game where they made it harder for the European audience. But I think Metal Gear Solid 2 has like European difficulty, which I still find kind of strange because I don't recall anyone ever playing Metal Gear on anything other than easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of easy shaming too, where if you play a game on easy, you're gonna catch shit. I don't really care for that very much, but
I try to avoid it just because you want to play it in the way it's meant to be, and normal mode should be that.
well, there are some games where, and these are the games I deliberately play on easy, are the ones that are like, play this game on hard to see the real ending. No, fuck you. I'm gonna coast through this game. Go straight to hell. Painkiller's one of them.
Oh,
like
the
Dragon
old
Warrior.
arcade games.
Well,
Dragon Warrior 5 was the last one released.
Part 5? Okay.
Yes.
Oh wait, was it the last one published or the last one uploaded?
The last one published.
Okay, so the last one uploaded is 6?
Probably.
Okay, so we may be wrong. We might be wrong because it sounds pretty shaky. But the 7th episode of Dragon Warrior, if you want us to, we had a question for the audience. If you want us to play Super Mario RPG, following the, actually when this is out, we probably already would have started recording it. So I don't know why we're even doing
Probably, even if the votes went one way or the other.
Well, yeah.
Your votes might be irrelevant, just like in real life.
Your votes might be irrelevant, but go to Dragon Warrior Part 7 and comment for Super Mario RPG or Final Fantasy Mystic Quest to follow the Wheel of Fortune playthrough that's probably going to be out. Actually, it was probably out yesterday, which means whatever was chosen has already been played and is releasing tomorrow.
I'm still not convinced that Wheel of Fortune game was a Super Nintendo game.
It was. It was totally a Super Nintendo game.
I don't believe you.
I know!
think we were lied to.
I know. I don't believe it either. I'm right there with you. I was saying that the whole time.
I think it had the quality of like a pirated one from Taiwan.
I think it was for the Commodore 64.
I mean, I've seen better looking games on the Master System.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight on the Master System. That was an 8-bit system.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The Super Nintendo was the best 16-bit system. Ah, crap, my Xbox turned on again. Sorry. Stupid thing. I can't hear you guys. I'm back.
Okay. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. So we just got the full plate armor. So we finally finished grinding.
Oh, you made it to 3,000.
Yes, yes. So we don't have to grind for levels anymore, at least right now. So now we have to make it through the swamp cave. We're not actually going to do anything, but it's on our way to another town. Which, being this game constantly starts us off at the castle, that's going to be a huge waste of time if we do it right now. So I'm just going to go back to the castle and we're going to save, and that's going to be that.
And that will be the end of this episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z. We can't. We have to make it sound as far away from Dragon Ball Z as possible for possible copyright issues. Because that's how copyright works.
But you just said Dragon Ball Z.
I did not, and neither did you. Understand me?
I never said Dragon Ball Z, and I never will.
I can say GT as much as I want, because they're apparently now saying that never happened in continuity.
Are they genuinely saying that now?
Yeah, they want to come out with a new series that's basically what GT should have been.
That is awesome. Because I kind of I like it when they have new characters that are cool, and Pan really could have been that, but she just ended up being the annoying little girl character that you get in so much shit.
You know, the more shit I hear about GT, the more I actually want to watch it. But that means I'd have to watch Dragon Ball Z again, and that would just take up too much time.
It it's certainly not as bad as some people make out, but it's definitely bad. They tried really hard to capture the whole Dragon Ball comedy adventure from the original series, but the space trekking stuff from the first season of Dragon Ball Z,
Right.
and it's just not good. It's like they even make Goku a kid just to do that.
Wow. I don't know what I think about that.
But in order to
It's
have
dumb.
kick-ass fights, he gets Super Saiyan 4, which turns him into an adult.
That does sound dumb.
Yeah. It is. It does have some cool moments, though. I mean, it is Dragon Ball Z, GT rather. So
And
there are things
Gohan.
like, what was that, Sarah?
Gohan is completely useless.
Oh yeah.
What's new?
He's basically been downgraded to Krillin status.
Oh man, but they've already got
And
Krillin.
Krillin's an old man.
Yeah, Krillin's old. The Saiyans don't age like humans do.
Hmm.
And Vegeta's got a mustache.
Oh
He's
my
also had a
God.
haircut, which is weird. I don't think it grows back. Like, I'm pretty sure it was mentioned once that that Saiyan's hair doesn't grow. It's just sort of the way it is from when they're born.
Jesus. Okay, so now the game
I
is
mean, maybe
telling
that's
us
a mistranslation.
the game's telling us how to turn it off now. So, I guess that's it for Dragon Ball's.
But I wanted to talk more about Dragon Ball.
Well, we're probably gonna have plenty more episodes of this series. Just kind of keep that in mind, and we'll be able to talk more about that. Here, let me make sure. Let me make sure we still have a lot to go. Oh yeah, we still got a lot to go. Though honestly, not a whole lot of leveling. Oh wait, I lied. There's more leveling. A lot more too. Holy shit! Look at all that
Oh,
leveling.
Tim, don't lie to us about that.
Yeah, there's more stuff to buy. Not, oh yeah, in the upcoming town. I was gonna say not in the upcoming town, but then I looked at it and yes, there's something to buy in the upcoming town. That's very expensive. We just bought armor, right? That was the last thing we bought was armor. Guess what we have to buy at the next town?
Armor.
More
Another
armor?
set of fucking armor to replace what we just fucking got.
It's like it's a JRPG or something.
Oh yeah. But except the thing is, we're just gonna keep talking over the screen. I just have one more thing to say. It's just the thing is, like in other RPGs that I've played, you do something before you go to the next town and get more armor. And this one, it's just like buy armor, buy armor, buy armor, buy armor. Now let's go do something like some small,
In all
unimportant
fairness,
thing. What?
this was the first JRPG,
Yeah.
so a lot of that stuff was building off this one really.
And the great part is, I still think this is a great game. And, like, playing it now, I have no idea why, but that opinion has not changed. Oh, man.
So it's not like with, say, Resident Evil 4.
Ah! I hate Resident Evil 4.
But it was among your top 20.
It was, because there were some cool aspects of it. But then there were others that I just couldn't get over. But we can talk about that more next time.
Oh.
Oh. What, do you want me to fire this up again so we can do another episode?
6 more episodes.
I have things to do, man.
No, you don't.
Yeah, actually I do. So I have
Oh.
to. I like the enthusiasm though. It makes me happy. Maybe that means whenever I come back, you guys will be ready to record more not Dragon Warrior stuff, which I'll be all for. We'll probably start the Super Nintendo series. We'll just start doing one of the two and not wait for any votes.
You could always just do Chrono Trigger.
I don't have the Super Nintendo cartridge of that, so I have the
You could always
PlayStation.
just do Yoshi's Island.
I don't have that either. We have to do
Super
things.
Mario World?
What? You're fucking right.
Mario
You're
World.
fucking right. I have Super Mario World.
We could play that.
Maybe
I think it's against the law in some countries to have a Super Nintendo and not Super Mario World.
it is. I almost had to pay a fine until I went and got the All Stars version that came with Mario World. They almost slapped me with the fine until I showed them that cartridge.
I have the Game Boy Advance one as well. I
Yeah.
have the Super Nintendo one too, but that really was just like, I don't know, like if you Mario Brothers 3 is my favorite, but there is something very special about that one.
I'm gonna have to like put images on the screen for what.
The rest of this will be a Geeks of the Round Table podcast.
Yeah, like it just feels like the Grump cast and like the Steam Train cast they do after the games crash. So they just put like a podcast logo, which fortunately we already have because we've already done podcasts. So done and done.
Huzzah!
The topic of the week is I don't know, whatever the fuck you want, guys.
So you see, Master Roshi, he's immortal.
Whoa, that was unnecessary.
Spoilers, I know. It's not like it's established really early upon meeting the character or anything.
Yeah, I know. I actually don't remember a lot about Dragon Balls, so
Death is meaningless in it.
it really
Until
is.
GT, I guess, but I mean, Piccolo stays dead.
Well, it's because Piccolo's a
I remember
person of
really
color,
liking
and that
it
show's
through-
racist.
I remember liking it for a little bit after the Cell games ended, or the Cell saga, when it was just following like Goku and his adventures in the afterlife. But then proper Majin Buu saga started and it went terrible.
See, for me, I hated the Cell saga because I found it really boring. I didn't like Cell as a villain because Frieza was so ridiculously cool as a villain, like cheesy and camp, but really menacing and evil. Whereas Cell was just like, I'm basically Superman and I want to fight everyone to the death, but I'll wait for them. I won't really do anything until then.
That's pretty much
And
where I
then-
stopped watching was with Cell.
Yeah, people like him, but I think he's lame. Because he's also a composite character, so he doesn't have anything of his own aside from his tail.
Hmm.
And Cell and Frieza had a tail.
Yeah.
The Cell saga was where the whole regenerating your body thing started getting really dumb.
Yeah, it's like we can't just out punch them anymore. We have to just out recover them.
He regenerates his whole body from a single cell that was left over. What?
Well, they got dumber with Majin Buu, and it was like every atom can spawn a new Buu.
Oh God.
I mean, this is like
Molecule, there
Wolverine
was-
levels of insane.
There were no hell. It goes past Wolverine, clear into Deadpool.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to say that if I wasn't gonna say it first.
Technically, it's more Lobo.
Well, I was
Lobo,
saying
who
Deadpool
once
'cause
decided to create an army of Lobos from drops of his own blood, but there only ended up being one because none of them could get along and killed each other.
yeah, that's really the only outcome you can expect with something like that. I was just saying Deadpool because he cannot die. He is, by the rules of the superior beings of the Marvel Universe, barred from coming into contact with death.
Because they might
The
make
same
out
thing
too
actually
much.
applies to that same thing actually applies to Lobo. He is too evil to go to heaven, and he got kicked out of hell for trying to take it over.
Jesus.
I'd have laughed hysterically because there's the DC versus Marvel graphic novel, or it was a series, but I've got the graphic novel, and I kind of wish Deadpool had fought Lobo instead of Wolverine versus Lobo.
That would have been awesome, though Lobo is meant to be a Wolverine copycat. Kind of like how Deadpool is more of a Deathstroke ripoff. Well, a genuine Deathstroke ripoff originally as well. Like when Rob Liefeld created him, he didn't create Deadpool with any of the character that we all associate with him. He was just a mercenary, just like Deathstroke, the Terminator. Have we ended?
Yeah, I think with
Nope.
just trying to stretch this last episode as far as you can go, huh?
Yeah, why not?
Exactly.
We'll just have it be
This is
some
all
comedy at the end of it.
just me needing to go somewhere, but we're not ending this because I'm not allowed.
So let's get into a long-winded discussion about why GT sucks.
No, I don't want to get into that conversation yet because I haven't seen GT yet.
Go ahead, then. You can watch it now.
You guys will wait. We'll just
Every
keep it going.
episode,
We'll just keep this going.
including the TV special.
Oh, God. That's never a good thing. Okay, but on that note, I am going to end this now, so...
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the little bonus bit at the end here.
Bye, guys.